How you doing, guys? Alex on BlueMoonRisingTV. Manchester City 0, Stoke City 0. A tough result to take, but one we learned from nonetheless. Here are 5 things that we learned from the game. The first one for me is how much we missed Raheem Sterling. It was the big omission from the 18 at the start of the game, the one you were looking for on the team sheet and couldn't seem to find. And ultimately, I think we missed him tonight. Now, there was some talk of a knock, some talk of him being rested. Whatever it was, for me, he stuck out like a sore thumb. Now, I don't want to disparage Jesus Navas. I thought he did everything that was asked of him tonight. It just didn't seem to click for the whole team. But ultimately, Sterling is one of those players that when he gets on the ball, you get excited, the fans get out their seats, and he generates some atmosphere. And more often than not, he generates an end product. And from Jesus Navas, we just weren't getting that. And whilst rotation is necessary, it does beg the question how much Raheem Sterling has impacted this team this season that it stands out so much when he's not there. Lesson number 2 tonight, it's all about rotation. I want to talk about Kevin De Bruyne. I want to talk about Yaya Toure, players that are really match winners for Manchester City, and for all their credits and all their abilities, tonight you couldn't help but feel they were scratching the surface of what they're really capable of. Players like De Bruyne that normally are the difference, that have carried this team all season, that have been superb and worked so hard. Tonight, from 15, 20 minutes in, you thought he really had to dig deep to find something, he had to bring something out. Even players like Sergio Aguero, you saw him hold his hamstring once or twice, and you thought, blimey, is this going to be it? Is he going to get himself injured? And it just rams home how important a squad is. The way Guardiola works his team, the way he makes them work so hard, the pressure, the levels, the intensity they have to provide, it does take its toll. And sometimes we are going to have to hold our hands up and go, all right, it's a night off for you, Kev, it's a night off for you, Yaya, because we can't expect that every single week, and we certainly can't expect it twice a week. Point number 3, a lesson we've been learning throughout the season, it's all about the fullbacks. Now, it's the same old story. We need to get new fullbacks, we need to replace them, but tonight it was evident we missed so many chances that could have been created with some quality crossing from the boys Gale and Bakary, who were given the nod tonight in those fullback positions. You can't help but feel that Gale, after everything he's done for the club, the time is coming to move him along a little bit, and you think, yeah, it's only Stoke and maybe tonight's a night you can perform, but there were wobbly crosses, there was chasing back to get the ball, wasn't quite making ends meet. And in the physical side of the game, he was getting pushed off the ball once or twice, and he wasn't throwing in the big challenges to win the ball back for the defensive duties of a fullback. Bakary Sagna was getting there defensively, but again, there was no attacking product. The positional play was poor, and you think, actually, guys, we need somebody in. Now, there's a lot of names being thrown around in the transfer window, and there's a lot of paper talk, and we'll see what happens in the summer, but ultimately, it's an area we need to improve on, and it's an area that is definitely a weakness. Tonight, I think we learned all about how football sometimes isn't going to be all excitement. Even when you have players like Leroy Sané in the team and you've got a manager like Pep Guardiola, it can't always be fun and games. Sometimes you're going to get a tedious, dull game. It was a 0-0 with Stoke City on a Wednesday night. It was almost a cliche in itself. To be honest, nearly everybody around me was checking the Barcelona game, and coming out, that's what everybody wanted to talk about. And sometimes you've got to react to the dull games. You've got to grind out a result. The best teams win when they don't play well, and tonight we didn't look like champions. We didn't look like a side that was going to win the game. There were a couple of moments where you thought, but as the game developed, it became more and more predictable what was going to happen and the outcome. Stoke got their game plan right tonight. They came out, they were happy with the result, and we weren't. They got it right and we didn't, and ultimately we've been disappointed. But the lesson we've got to take from it is you've got to grind out the results on those tough games at Stoke on a Wednesday night. The final point I want to leave you with tonight, it's all about which Manchester City will turn up, because tonight I thought it was a complacent City that turned up. One that didn't quite look raring when they came out the tunnel. They missed a couple of chances in the first half, and the attitude was another one will come up, and you can't afford to have that attitude against a hard-working Stoke City that are going to make you work to create chances. And it wasn't like we were creating chance after chance after chance. There were long periods where we weren't even having a shot, we weren't actually getting into dangerous positions. And it makes you have to question, why can't the ruthless Manchester City that turned up at the weekend against Sunderland, the side that went there, got a 2-0, worked hard throughout and were clinical, they crushed Sunderland, none of this worried about the home fans, none of worried about disappointing teams, went there, got the job done. Tonight, we looked a lot less up for it, and maybe that's tiredness, maybe it's different team talk, maybe it's certain players in the starting lineup that weren't there, players like John Stones, who worked so hard on Sunday and didn't come tonight, wasn't in the starting team, played with that attitude of wanting to win every game, wanting to work hard, who knows what it means to the fans in the stands as an English player used to playing in the English Premier League. Who knows? But ultimately, we've got to be more ruthless. Those are the 5 things that I learned, guys. Join in the comments. I'm sure I've missed loads of stuff. Let me know what you made of it. Is it just a blip? Is it a flash in the pan? Or is there improvement to be done? Have your say in the comments. If you're new, make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. I stand out in the cold, so you don't have to. That's got to be worth a thumbs up. See you next time, Blues.